Hello, everyone. Going to begin momentarily. I'm just going to let people filter in here and get our pop-out chat. Be Jakin. Here I am. Another negative space design review. Of course, the negative space is just the name of this little show of mine. It doesn't have anything to do with negative space. Arabic Design Academy. How to submit design? Well, just click on the Discord link in the YouTube description. Join up in my Discord server. It's free, of course, and then click on Review Submissions. We'll get to that in a second. How's it going? Kadar? I have no clue. Scott, what's up? Joe. Awesome. Najmul 420. What's up? Tarek. I'm terrible at pronouncing names, and unfortunately there's a lot of people with names, that aren't, from the US. Chris, I can do that. What's up? Nice. You can tell your employer that this is education, right? So, assuming, of course, you have a design job. Aubrey, what's up? Sorry. Dan. Same old. Yep. All right, we're just about 2 minutes in. And we're going to get started here in a second. All right, so let's begin. So basically, this is the 8th version, although I've been doing this for many more times than just 8 episodes. I've been doing the same thing since probably the summer, every Friday essentially, where I design or I critique your designs, all right? I just give you a rating, and I give you my ideas on how you can improve, and this could be UI design, this could be identity design, like logo design, so it could be graphic design, it could be anything that has to do with design. No coding, though. And the way you do this, the way you submit your design for me to critique live on this stream is to click on the Discord link in the YouTube description, and it'll take you to this chat application. You click on Review Submissions, and then you submit your link down here. It could be an image if it's just a logo. You could attach it as an image, or it could be a link right here. And all I'd ask is that if I critiqued your design before, don't submit it without having already made changes to it, like improvements and such. And also, I will probably not be able to get to all of the reviews. I do this for an hour, and in which case, if you really want me to do your to critique your design, then in the chat window of YouTube, you click this little money sign. You could send a super chat, which is just some amount of money right here, and mention your Discord username in this message right here. And I always say that kind of helps support my Friday Margarita Fund right there. Okay. And as always, before we begin and get started here, this live stream is brought to you by Skillshare.com. All right, so Skillshare.com is an online education platform for learning a lot of different things that this channel is involved in, which is UI and UX design. So they have tons of courses, video-based courses with projects that you can learn on UI and UX design fundamentals, and even getting further into more complex topics. Also illustration, graphic design, web development, they have it all. So definitely check it out, and you can get the first 2 months free if you use my link over here. It's also the very first line in the description of YouTube. So definitely support them, as it helps support me as well and continue our sponsored relationship. So, all right, PayPal email. Okay, so some people can't pay through through this YouTube system. So if you want me to, you send a super chat in a different way, you can send a PayPal email to Gary@GarySimon.net, and I will check it off the other on the other monitor just to be sure. And then when you send that PayPal email, mention your Discord username. Okay, it's very important. Otherwise, I don't know who the hell sent what. Okay, let's get started here. So the very first submission that I have, let's see here, because I announced it earlier on my channel here, and All right, Jaco, I don't know. Let's check this out. Gary does review videos of designs. I mean, I guess we can do a video, kind of. It's not interactive, of course, but we'll check it out anyhow, just real quickly. And I will get the YouTube chat window up here in a second. Okay, so I'm just kind of watching this. I'm not probably going to sit here for a minute, though, watching this video. What I'm seeing so far, I would like to see more contrast with the button in the background element. Maybe change the background slightly, maybe dim it out a little bit more. Based on what I'm seeing here, at least, it's kind of hard to get quite a gather. I would space these things out here because you have like a 5, and then this is all kind of cluttered. You have a lot more room to be able to space these things out. Maybe put one inside a container to separate them a little bit more visually. And yeah, so I'm not going to be doing a rating on this just because it's a video and it's kind of hard for me to pinpoint one area. But yeah, those are just a couple of the comments that I had for that one. Let's get the YouTube chat windows out here. Okay, cool. All right, awesome, Tristan. So let me, I wonder if I can pin this. I don't know where my pin application went, where I can pin this so it's always there. Let me just do this. We're going to move on to the next one in a second. By the way, you guys can send the super chats at any point in time, and you'll get thrust to the very beginning. So let's do this one right here. Finally, please review my site, nemrut.co. All right. Okay. Let me move this over. No problem. Okay, so sorry, let me get this. It's taking up a little bit too much space here. Okay. All right, so here's the next one. Let's refresh this. I think there was some animation. So we have a loading animation and some sort of interesting 3D skewed effect on this element. So that's interesting. Let's come down here just to see what else there is. And I'm going to kill my kids, by the way, because they spilled something and it got over my monitor. So like I'm looking and like there's stuff on my monitor. I don't know what it is, like chocolate milk or something. I didn't notice it until now. All right, so definitely interesting. Some things right, some things that are a little bit confusing though, a little bit cluttered up. This element right here, this white element that comes by, I might, if I were you, not make that fixed. Just make that, once I scroll down, that will go away as well, because when you're scrolling, and by the way, I can't even scroll down. What's happening here? I can't choose the scroll wheel, so something's happening over here. I mean, I can't choose the scroll bar, can't select it. So something's overlaying that. I can only use my mouse scroll wheel. But anyhow, I make that go away because it started to get a little bit cluttered around this area. You have a box here, you have this here, you have this here, and this here. So probably just try to simplify a little bit more. Plus, it's kind of strange having this big empty spot right here. So I would remedy that somehow as well. The type looks good right here. Those work. And the cards are good. I don't have any problem with the cards. Yeah, pretty solid overall. Just a few things that were a little bit strange with this little element right here that's fixed. So what do you guys think? Should he get a 1 or a 10? Right in between a 1 and a 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best UI design that you've ever seen. Let me know in the YouTube chat right here, and then I'll let you know what I think. All right, somebody says 8, so they're rating him high. 5.5, 6, 8, 5. Yeah, I think I know what I'm going to rate this one. I'm going to say a 6.2. Yeah, I don't have a 0.2 or point, like a decimal system worked into these. But yeah, I think that this could be improved. I think if we really you got rid of that overlaid part, it's making some areas a little bit tough to see, a little bit cluttered. All right, thanks for the submission. Let's go on to the next one. Apple Jacks. Let's see if this gets reviewed. All right, well, let's see. Woo, okay, very interesting. Let's refresh this. Hey there, I am Aubrey Sledzinski, or Sledzinski. Okay, I suck. Independent digital designer. I create web and graphic design. I would make that plural. I create web and graphic designs. Let's scroll down before I start critiquing. Okay, interesting. Guys, hold on a second. I have to get rid of some of this crap. I don't even know what it is that's on my my monitor. 1 second. All right, that's a little bit better. Sorry about that. Let's continue. Let's continue down here. Okay. A lot happening. Damn. Okay. So there's a lot of really good parts of this this design I like. One thing I would say is this background image. It's a video-based background image. I can see there's some sort of interesting effect that's been applied to it in video. And I think it's a little bit hard to read this stuff, especially this part when some of it's so similar. So I would probably, if you're going to keep it, drop that opacity down with the black background behind it so it doesn't contrast so much with the overlaying elements here. The let's start, the text is a little bit small. I would bump that up so you can see this text a little bit more. This menu area, see how you have this opaque area where it's transparent with this this background? It's hard to even see the fact that there's a menu button here at all in the first place. So, you know, I would probably remove the opacity that you have on here as well so that it's not transparent so that you can see these foreground elements a little bit better. Same thing with these as well. This interesting sort of navigation that you have at the bottom, I would increase the contrast with this resume skills. I would make them white so that you can stick out and you can see them a lot easier. I really like the design of this section right here. This would probably be a little bit larger, this text. I would make that larger for sure. I like the colors and everything that you're using with this gray and the purple. That works well. Again, a little bit larger text. I like the type base that you have here with the watermark and my resume. That's all good. So yeah, this is pretty solid. There's a lot of areas that are very solid actually. This right here, this graphic, this photograph, it seems just a little bit cheesy. It kind of doesn't fit with this type of design right here. There's like a disconnect between the quality, I think, of the design. So I would choose something else for this area for sure right here. Yeah, this is all pretty solid right here. All right, what do you think this person should get for their design, their UI design? A 1 being the worst and a 10 being best that you've ever seen. I already have my rating. I already know it. 5, 4, boy, tough crowd right here. 8 for sure. Somebody says 7, 7.5, 7, 4, 7.5, 7.5, 8, 4, 7, 7, 5. Yeah, I'm going to agree with most people here. This is 4, and I'm going to go with a. I'm going to go with a 7. Yeah, a 7. I mean, because if you look at like this part right here, this is great. Like this is better than a 7 in my opinion. But some areas were worse than a 7, so I'm just giving you a 7. Oh, sorry, I always forget I have to switch over. But yeah, like this right here, this is all solid. All right, so let's continue on. Someone says no way. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's get reviewed. Who's next? I would like to get your review. All right. Front-end developer, mathematician, and a traveler. I think there's one L there. Someone verify that for me. Is there one L in traveler? I'm fairly certain there is. Let's continue down. My works. My computer's getting old. Like I have to hit it because the fan starts getting loud and then it stops. All right. So, ramen. Okay. One issue here. You have this very bright area right here, and you have the white text on top of it. Same thing with this cloud. So it makes it hard to read this. So there's a contrast issue. I would remedy that somehow by probably making this darker or using a different image altogether so that these really stick out well. I know you could still read it, but you want it to be immediate. So there's no way it's traveler. Hold on. Yeah, it's 1L. Come on. Yeah, it's 1L. Okay. Unless this is like in a different language or something, traveler or something else. So let's see here. Definitely remedy that issue. Coming down here, my works, I don't think this type works well. Go with something, you know, that you can't go wrong with, like, of course, Montserrat, my favorite font, or something that's sans serif. With these, yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of having thumbnails of user interfaces because it makes it a little bit, it just makes it look cluttered, if you know what I mean, when it comes to these thumbnails. The way you have them, it's not bad, but if you could rethink about how maybe you could do the logos instead, just the logo of the project perhaps, and put them in card-based designs, it might work a little bit better. Now, you have no menu for me to click on, so you have these pages right here. So I guess it's just a single page landing page. So what do you guys think he should get for this design? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. All right, 3, 4, 5, 6.5, 3.5. Yeah, there's not a lot here to really judge, but from what I see, all right, somebody sent a PayPal. All right, I'm gonna say, I'll say a 4, maybe like a 3.9 or something like that. Because there's some areas like this isn't like real bad. I mean, we have some things going right. So in this area, I'm gonna get up my PayPal right here. Somebody said they sent a PayPal, so I'm gonna do that real quick. We will. I'm going to probably do another one real quick before I get there because I need to log in and verify everything. Oh, okay. Actually, I do see it. Discord is okay. I'm gonna do this right now. All right. Thank you very much for the super chat, which was, it turned out to be $4, basically $5. So that'll pay part of my margarita, man. Awesome. All right. It's right down here. I'm gonna read the description. I'm creating a website for a friend who is a psychologist. Oh man, my dad had a stroke a week and a half ago, and like he was just going to see a psychologist when I seen him today. He's at a rehab clinic. Not a fun time having a stroke. Anyhow, DNS has nothing in common with the website content. Not ready yet. Also not fully responsive. Please click on make an appointment and tell me what your thoughts are. All right, so let's check this out right now. All right. Ooh, look at that. Yeah, I like that. That's fun. So probably something like 3JS was used for this. What are you dealing with? All right, lorem ipsum, make an appointment. Let's scroll down here. Evaluation and diagnosis. Okay, anxiety, depression. Okay. That is a serious man right there. It's a good picture. All right. So looking at just this page, I will click make an appointment. Immediate 10. Okay. This is all pretty solid right here. Yeah, I don't have too much of a problem with much of what's... I'm not sure if I would make this extend out with the letter spacing on the animation. maybe just maybe do something else. Maybe just like fill in the background and then take the text and make it black or whatever. I'm not sure why. I just don't like how it's pushing this over. I don't know. It's not a big gripe. Or find out more. You could probably underline that by default just to let people know it is a clickable link, because it looks like this text up here, which isn't clickable. Make an appointment. Yeah, just like I was going to say, just do the same thing up here, right here, and you've already done it there. So this is good. Coming down here, so these kind of like service-based card layouts right here that we have going, I think we could have a little bit more structure to this by probably taking this find out more and making it an actual button, like encasing it in a button wrapper of some sort. And I think that would be a little bit better. I like the icons. Those are good. This is good. Maybe the amount should be scaled down a little bit, so that it's not the same size as the text, the title text above it. You can see you did reinforce some visual hierarchy by making the this light gray, but I think also taking down the scale of it will be a little bit better. So we did font size, like, let's see, 0.8 EM. I think that's a little bit better. That way the emphasis is clearly on the type of service offered. There we go. And again, just one thing that's throwing off the flow of this too is to find out more. Some of these, depending on how much content you have, or if there's two lines on the title, it's not going all the way down. So I would, you can use Flexbox or CSS Grid to make sure that this find out more is always like at the bottom, and it'll fill out those cards more. I would put this content right here over here. You have a big empty space. Yeah, just put two columns here and just put this stuff right to the right of this. But yeah, pretty solid overall. Let me click on that button, make an appointment. All right, interesting little page transition animation. We have a close button. You might want to put like a little X as well, or just an X. The appointments only by call. Simple enough, works. Very cool. All right, what do you guys think this person should get for a rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. I look at the chat, but I can't be looking at the chat when I'm doing the reviews. Seven, 589, 7, 8.5, 9, a solid 8, 6, 8, a 10. Let's see here. What do I think? I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to say a 7.7. Yeah, so you're real close to an 8. So this is the best one we've got so far. Clearly, it can be improved, just in some areas. For the most part, it is solid. So thank you very much for the super chat. Did somebody else send something? Oh, no. Okay, so let's continue on. Who was next in line? I want to make sure I don't skip anyone. No, Rasik, I have to say it just because people keep on filtering in and out of this live stream. So I have to repeat myself all the time just so people understand, because there's people who come and go. Let's continue on. Who is the next? I think it was this person. Let's check that out. Nope, it's not. I already did that one. All right, that's the next in line. All right, so looking at this, okay, let's continue down. We got a custom scroll bar implemented here. Okay, so first, I think this is a little bit large. Maybe scale just a tad bit down. You have your name here, web developer, my projects. Might want to space these things out a little bit more vertically. Maybe bring the line height between these two up, condense them a little bit more. But yeah, pretty solid overall so far. Very simple, of course, just your name centered here. If you can, try to think perhaps of integrating some sort of illustration or perhaps like a background watermark or vector or something like that to make it a little bit more interesting. Coming down here, about me, let's see. Sometimes when it comes to these layouts where, okay, we notice that we have all this horizontal space on this viewport at least. It probably makes sense to have more of a structured layout when you're working with columns as opposed to having everything just in sequential rows like this, as if it's just a mobile platform. So you could put this in a left column and left align the text. Maybe even have a picture about your of yourself. And then the skills you could probably put over perhaps a right line depending on how many you have. If you're not going to do that though, and you just have skills, there's no reason to have these like in this tiny little confined space. I mean, on these larger viewports, just put them all out on one single line or two, not three. So same comments about that as well. Projects. So these a card-based design that I see here. Again, try to space these out even more. You could put 3 per line because you have enough space. If you don't, you can just make them a little bit smaller because they're pretty big as is. But the cards designs in and of themselves are not too bad. I can understand what's happening here. I would make the thumbnail clickable though to take you to it. Contact form is pretty solid. I would probably make this like that by default because there's a lot of borders occurring here, so it's a little bit hard to follow. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best? Yeah, so if you switch this to like a mobile viewport, things would it would look more polished for a mobile project. Although it doesn't even like really change at all. So it's not responsive pretty much in any sense. It gets just a little bit bigger, I guess. Design-wise, aesthetically, not talking about the responsiveness or the layout, everything's real solid. There's good contrast everywhere. It's pretty solid otherwise. So I'm going to say for this one, a 6. I think it could be like a 7.5 or 7.8 or something like that if these other issues were addressed. But if you added some more character to it perhaps and creativity in terms of illustrations, you can go higher even so. All right, thank you for that submission. Let's continue on. Who was that? And that was Marco, it says. Okay, so you've already reviewed my website, but I made some improvements. Would you please look at it? Problem with this, yeah, that's not working. Sorry, I copied the text. Okay. We'll try this one. Okay. Problem with when people who submit things they improve, sometimes I don't remember what the original was. So I'm just going to design or review this as seen. And where's the thing? Where's the scroll bar? I don't see a scroll bar. Where is it at? All right, well, I'll just use my mouse wheel. All right, this is beta. Okay, tell me more, a little bit about me. Okay, contact, projects. Okay, so looking at this, you could probably make this a little bit larger, this text in this little area right here, because it's important. It's a small comment, but I'd probably make it just a tad bit larger. Best projects in this area, same thing with the projects page. It's the same layout essentially. Honestly, it would probably make sense to put some separation between these elements. I like the hover graphics, that works well. The one I want to see more is probably going to take us back to the same sort of thing. So yeah, I would put Also, on this larger viewport, you could probably put 3 side by side or even 4. And then that way, they're not so big and in your face. And if you did that, maybe you wouldn't have to have any space between them. But, you know, some of them, they kind of run in together because they're the same background. So I would put maybe a little bit of margin between them. All right, and contact. All right, no contact form, but send me an email. Very simple. All right, let me guys know what you think this person should get. A 1 being the worst and a 10 being the best. So 175456. Yeah, there's a lot of things happening, you know, that are correct. It's very simple. So we have a 5, 5, 6.5, 7, 5, 5, 8.5. I've got a 7 or a 6, 5, 5. All right, I'm gonna say a 5. Or no, I'm gonna say probably like a 6.5. Yeah, for that. Let's reset that. And being that we're halfway through, it's past 30 minutes, I'm going to mention the YouTube sponsor here, which is Skillshare.com, which is an online education platform for learning tons of stuff that is relevant based on this channel. So UI, UX design, of course, is what we're focusing on today. A lot of people, you know, visual hierarchy and spacing and web design, that's a great course. There's a lot of other UI and UX courses, Adobe XD courses specifically that you can take now for 2 free months if you use my link that's over here on this YouTube overlay, and also the very first link in the description. Click that, you'll get my custom code where you get your 2 free months, and you can start watching all those, so definitely check that out. Let's continue on. All right, who is next? It's down right there. All right, this is a web application used to share notes between students. We got a Figma prototype here. So I'm letting it load off screen real quickly just to make sure no one's trolling me with adult content or something like that. Okay, so let's get this over here. Okay. Wow, where do I begin? I don't want to no. I don't want to do any of that. Can I click play? All right, so can I click around? We can click on this. Not sure what's happening. Unfortunately, there's no translation option, so I don't know what's, you know, where I need to be. I guess I'll just focus on this by default. So you have 2 menus, but they're not styled differently. So usually when you have, like, you designate a primary navigation and maybe a sub-navigation, and you reinforce the difference between the two and the priority or the visual hierarchy between the two by changing them up somehow. So the more important one might be bigger, it might be bold, it might have more contrast. So I would work that in here between these 2 elements right there. The type right here, I'm not sure what these are. It seems like they have equal importance, which is usually not the case. You usually want somebody to go in one route more so than the other. So, you know, again, you use that visual hierarchy to emphasize the difference here. I would get rid of this little inner glow that you have on this element as well. Coming down here, this isn't bad. This type right here. Might want to use more modern illustration for this instead of just emoticons. This part, pretty simple enough. Might get rid of that outer glow. Not sure what this is, if it's a placeholder for a future graphic or something. It's fancy graphics. Okay. This part's not too bad. Maybe put them in card-based layouts, perhaps. Although, in and of itself, it's fine. All right, so what do you think this person should get for this design? I know there was a lot of other screens there, but I don't have enough time to go through all of them, so I was just choosing to critique this one. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Let me know what you guys think this person should get. there's some things happening right, some things that, could be improved. Good white space. All right, I'm going to say a 5. Yeah, maybe a 5.5. I just think there's some of those areas should be improved a little bit. The type is throwing me off just a little bit right here. Yeah, almost a 6. But yeah, I think it could definitely be improved. Thanks for submitting that. Let's go to the next person. What do you think? Unfortunately, I can't scroll too much to show you, but from what I see, this isn't bad. I'm not going to bother rating it, though. All right, Scott sent another one. All right, so there's a lot happening here. This one is too cluttered, I would say. Just because that background graphic is so intense, and trying to overlay the whole user interface on top of it, especially with areas that are transparent behind it, yeah, it's a tough sell because there's a lot of clutter happening here. So I would probably figure out a way to perhaps improve that, or maybe not make the image extend all the way down this way, maybe just like halfway, like where the water begins or something, right around there. Tristan, let's try this. Tristan Perry. Got some animations and Bezier curves. Let's move this over. Get our chat window back. Damn it. There we go. Okay. All right, let's refresh this. All right. Full stack web developer. Let's talk. Big old contact button right there. About. All right, I'm just getting a gather right now on what's happening here. Okay, so let's talk about improvements. I would scale this down just a little bit. It is pretty large and in your face. And also it's a little bit, it's catching my eye because it says your name here and then it says your name right immediately after it. And so it's just like, seems like an unnecessary duplication. I think more so than your name, a person, which they see already here and in the title, or the URL rather, and they presumably perhaps typed it in already, they would be more interested in what this site's about. So full stack web developer, I'd probably emphasize that, leave the name out because it's already up here clearly. The let's talk, I would make that a different, well, maybe not a different color, because a different color probably wouldn't work too well with this being blue already. But definitely push it down a little bit more so. And the let's talk with an icon in it, I would try to make this more of like a conventional button, a call to action button rather. This about me, or the about section, is okay. One thing that's throwing me off is, we have this left aligned over here, this is right aligned, and then we have this centered area. I mean, it's okay. But the one thing for sure that is throwing me off is this. You get to this part in your UI and all you see is just a ton of circles, and it's overwhelming. So you could keep this sort of flow thing that you have happening here, this animation, or keep this one instead, but I wouldn't have both of them like this. Definitely not. If you want to list out all skills, do it in a different way so there's not so many circles all over. And just list out the skills maybe in just a normal list format perhaps. Yeah, because there's a lot of, yeah, it's a little bit disorienting. Repetitive. Again, the drop shadows happening here, I would get rid of them. It's just, it's more of an old school approach, so it seems a little bit dated when you're having drop shadows like this in that way. I'm not saying you can't ever do them, but not like this, in my opinion. Board it, let's see here. Probably get rid of this stroke right here, this line. I would get rid of that. You can see that these are just projects that you probably did. Yeah, get rid of the outer dark glow right here. completely, maybe just, I would go to Google, type in card layouts or card design or Google card design, and you'll find like one of the UI design inspiration sites that'll show you just different ways to encase, thumbnails and stuff like that, and associated data. Because this just seems a little bit dated, the way you're approaching it. All right, so what do you guys think this person should get? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. Four, 4, 2, 6, 6, 5, 4. Definitely some things happening right. There, nothing's really cluttered up with each other, so there's good spacing all around. Contrast is good. Yeah, so I'm gonna say probably like a 5.3 or so, or 5.5, something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. And I think it could, definitely improve. Just follow what I was saying, and also a lot of the scale was a little bit off. Some things are way too big, in my opinion. For instance, down here, yeah, just way too big. You have a lot of space, so you might as well use it correctly, though. It's tough. All right, so logo design. Oh man, my back is killing me. Ugh. Okay. Let's see here. The medical practice. Fortunately, this is... Let me click open original so we can get a bigger image of this. Wow, that's like... Why is that? Let's reset that. Okay. It's really pixelated. If I had to choose between... What is the difference? Oh, they're all the same except there's just the Pines, Miami Village. Okay. Looks like you have like a blue crosses behind the people. It's cluttering it up. I would get rid of that completely. You have a lot of plus signs here. I would probably get rid of the ones that are smaller and in the background. You really want to make sure things are simplified, especially at smaller sizes, because then they look cluttered. But yeah, this isn't too bad. I mean, the type is good. Yeah, I would probably just take a single cross and put it right in the middle, like perfectly centered up above a person's head, and call it that the logo instead of having all these other ones around. I'm not gonna rate it. It's so pixelated, so I'm not gonna bother with rating. Let's come up next. Also, by the way, if you guys want to help my Margarita Fund, then, which is right here, you can send a super chat, because I'm not going to be able to get to probably all of the review requests. So you click on this super chat button, you send in your Discord username, you submit it, and then put in any amount. I will accept $500. I'm just letting you know. All right. So let's continue on. Who is next? See here. Trailman 0. Ooh, we got particles. Let's get this over. So let's refresh this. All right, it's got interactive particles, like little bitmap particles happening here. I'm a disruptive web developer focusing on finding the best combination between simple designs and captivating interactions. Okay, let's continue on. All right. All right. Let's click this, see what happens there. Nice little micro interactions. All right. Okay, so there's clearly this is probably like a canvas element here with the same background, black color right here. It would probably be worth changing the background of this element just a little bit, just to differentiate between the two containers and the two different pieces of content. So where's the background on that? Darn, I don't see it. Is it right there? Yeah, so let me see if I can do background gray. Okay, I don't want gray, of course, but maybe even something just slightly different, like that. And that way they're separated. So I already like that a lot more, just to have a clear separation between the two different pieces of content. So coming down here, we have about, but we have nothing here. Let me refresh that to make sure there wasn't. Oh, okay, there it is. Yeah, because I got rid of it. So no, this is pretty good. This is throwing me off. You have a nice size text. Everything about this is good right here. And then you scaled the size of this down only just by a little bit. So I would maybe change that up in a different way just to reinforce the visual hierarchy. So maybe make this just like a more gray, but don't make it too gray so it won't contrast enough, but also make it gray, and so you can really separate those out. What I'm talking about real quickly, if I do that, is just color. Let me just type in gray. So maybe not quite this dark, but that way these bits of text, these type that are just supposed to be styled differently, are more evident that they're different. So it kind of guides the eye a little bit more by changing them up. My basic everyday tools, I would left align this over here. Maybe even bold this as well. So it's different. It's a lot more different from that type as well. All right, coming down here. All right, this is okay. The design and then the labels versus the other supporting text. I would probably want to change that up a little bit. You have a lot of space here vertically, so maybe just take design, put it in its own column, and then put these maybe to the right of it. I don't know. I just think having them where it says design and you're real close to this text is kind of throwing it off a little bit, the flow of the type. But looking right here at the projects, this is okay. Maybe on this larger viewport, you could have all four of them side by side. Just scale them down a little bit more from what they are, and you could fit all four. That way, there's not just one hanging out there by itself. All right, what do you guys think this person should get for their rating? Also, make this smaller so you have more white space around this container. What do you think they should get? 1 being the worst and 10 being the best that you've ever seen. We have a 6, 8, 8, 7, 7, 6, 5, 9, 7, 7, 7, 7. Yeah, I'm going to say, I like that. I'm going to say a 6.9, very close to a 7. All right, thank you for submitting. We have 12 minutes left. So again, if you want me to get to your review, just send in a super chat. I do accept PayPal as well. Just let me know let me know in the chat that you send it. Gary@GarySimon.net. All right, let's go. Potato sites. We got templates. All right, I'm going to assume that this is your template that you designed, and that's probably a reasonable assumption. 1 second. Let's move this over. All right, some super important stuff. I thought this said lorem ipsum, and then I saw shit right there, but no, fortunately not. Let's go down. Okay, we have some major issues though right here. Most importantly, what's this menu do? All right, we got an interesting menu here. This lacks layout or structure, this whole area. You got this big old menu right there, and you just have a headline right here, and then beneath it is just a random LCD, and then this lorem ipsum description text is just way over here kind of stuff. I would put much more thought into the alignment and the structure of this layout of this area. Usually they're called hero sections. Like I mentioned before, go to UI design inspiration sites, look at landing pages, particularly at the top part, and try to get ideas in terms of laying this out better. and using some color as well for sectioning off your different pieces of content. Coming down here, this is a little bit better. Thank you, Linek. You will be next after this one. Thank you very much. So this part's actually okay. Not really. Yeah, you can have something here. This part's a lot better. Yeah, this whole section is a lot better than what we have going on up here. Coming down here, again, this is a little bit cheesy, this section. Plus, if you're going to have a vector illustration and we're on this wider viewport, you can have two columns. Put this on the left or put it on the right and put the text to the left of it. Because nobody cares about just some vector graphic of an illustration. Like, that should be an afterthought. It shouldn't have this much space dedicated to it. All right, and the rest is okay. So yeah, definitely remedy that stuff. If you guys want to rate it, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, let me know what you think in the description. Yeah, I was thinking that, David. I was thinking maybe this part, was probably taken from a different template or something. I didn't say that though. I'll give people the benefit of a doubt. All right, yeah. I'm going to say, yeah, 3. Yeah, I'll give you a 3 for this. All right, keep at it though. All right, so let's find our, Linek. Oh, it's right there. Good. Thank you for the super chat. All right, Dawson. They speak the internet. Let's continue on. Home. Got our home. Contact us. And then just a area over here. I'm just kind of getting a gather here before I do a critique. All right. So first, I would definitely want to have something else with this area. You have a ton of just empty space, and this really doesn't have as much context to it. So what I would do first is take this font size 4 EM, increase the hell out of that, and also left align it so that, see, also one thing that's throwing me off, this Dawson right here, this is the name of the company or whatever it is. Put it right here as a permanent part of this section. You can see it's pushed down. I would push it up right here and make it part of the logo. I mean the navigation bar. So it's throwing off the flow of the layout when it's kind of just pushed down here, and then this is kind of like pushed right here. It's indented a little bit. Put it all on the same column to bring about more structure in the layout. Yeah, and increase that big time, and maybe try to put something that's a little bit more relevant in this area outside of just these 2 lines that you have going here. Good call to action though. Coming down here, you have a lot of space in this area. You can definitely take this company section and put it even like right here instead, because you're requiring people to really scroll down quite a bit just to get to this text right here. Same thing with here, just too much white space in this regard. So there's a balance. It's like a U-curve, there's such thing as too little white space and then too much, and this is too much. It's better to have too much than too little though, honestly. But still, there is a balance. You could decrease that quite a bit. Let's see here. With these being so big, these labels right here, I mean, these are nice and big. And these being so small and pushed down quite a bit, I mean, you definitely are separating them out in visual hierarchy. A lot of people do the opposite problem. I would do like font size 1.5 EM. That's a little bit better. Make it 1.5 and then like margin top negative, at least negative like 1.5 EM. And of course, when you hover over this area, you kind of want, an equal amount of white space with the border that's happening around it. I do like that sort of effect that you have going on there, though. Customers, the fact that these are all kind of just aligned here, in the center, and then this is left nothing there. I would make sure each one of these are they are their own graphic. I would put them maybe like 3 or 4 per line, and just have like you have 8 of them, so you could have just 2 rows with 4 columns on this viewport at least. This is pretty good. I like this section right here. I like the monochromatic approach. And then you have a lot of empty space down here. I would just put that right back up. So yeah, what do you guys think this person should get for their rating? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. We got a 2 in there. We got a 7, 10. A little dated. Is it yours? Is that your design right here? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, for this, yeah, there's a lot. There's things happening, right, for sure. This, I would bring this out more in the foreground, not make it a watermark, just because you have a lot of space here anyhow, and there's nothing on top of it. I'm gonna say for this probably like a 5.2, 5.3. It could easily be improved quite a bit more, just with some of those minor changes. All right, so we're at 56 minutes. I'll probably do a couple more. If you do want me to review yours, you have a little bit of time left to send in a super chat. Let's go on to the next one. All right. Okay, so let's just work with this, see what's happening here. Let me open it up. All right. Interesting sort of, this reminds me that there's old school design in terms of like, this type of design used to be real freaking popular with like Photoshop, like in a different regard. I'll shut up though. Play a game where, okay, that works. This works. This works. I would probably not make this type right here bold and just make it a little bit larger. I don't know why. I just don't like it being bold. Outside of that, from what this is, because it's obviously just a PNG mock-up, yeah, it's not too bad. I'm not going to bother rating it though, just because there's not enough there to really worry about. But it's not bad from what I saw. Let's continue. Please check Cosmos. Okay, whatever. For negatives. For negative. Okay. Really need a professional review on this. All right. Well, you're going to get one. All right. Let's scroll down. All right, so first is a little issue with the layout up here. You can see clearly right here as defined by this container and this container. So I would right align this so it ends right there and just kind of move those over a little bit away from this button. That should be cursor pointer here, so it should change. Coming down for the rest of this. Shop now, make that more distinguishable from this text. Maybe put a button container around there so it's a more identifiable call to action. This intense outer glow, this box shadow, I would probably remove that. You can reinforce it, maybe just lessen the effect greater. Don't make the spread so dramatic like that. The shop now, there should be, if you're going to have only that 2 bits of content, just vertically align both of these in the center so there's not a big empty space. This part's not too bad the way you have it set up. I would get rid of the stroke and maybe change the color of this button. I think it could be a better call to action button for that. Just a different design perhaps. This part down here I do like a lot. I probably like that the most. entire user interface that you have. It almost seems like there are two different designs though. You have all this and then it just comes to this. So, but yeah, there's a lot of things happening right though. Small things though, like this are off. Like you have personal care with, and I'm looking at the inner white space around it. Like you have a lot here and then not as much here. So it's tiny things like that will throw off like the quality of a layout, even just to the average person who doesn't have a developed eye. But it'll still just, something will be off about it. So those things should be definitely improved. So what do you guys think? Is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, what should this person get? And that way, by the way, will be our last review. All right, 9, 6, 8, 4, 4, 5, 4, 6, 8, 8 for footer. It's a good footer. I'm gonna say probably like a 5.5, 5.6 or so. There's nothing too wrong, but I think definitely it could be improved, just with the few areas I mentioned. All right, so that is it, guys. I did get what, 1 or 2 super chats for my margarita fun tonight. Awesome. Yeah, so I have to be quick about getting off of here today because my mom needs to go up to see my dad in the rehab clinic, and she's watching my kids for me right now. Yeah, tough stuff, man. Don't have a stroke. You want to know how you don't have a stroke? Primarily, it's lifestyle. That's primarily, it's chronic issues such as cholesterol. What else? Abusing alcohol for decades will do it as well. What else would give you a stroke? Of course, diet. Oh man, you got to make sure your diet's on par. My diet's not too bad, but I don't eat enough vegetables. I'm definitely going to be eating more vegetables. I've had like an avocado every day since this happened. I've never had an avocado in my life, but my wife's been trying to get me. I'm like, shit, man. If my family has a predisposition for strokes, which it kind of does, like I have to be extra more concerned, I guess you could say, about doing better and being a little bit more healthy. Yep. Awesome, guys. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Also, before I mention, and don't forget, if you have not visited yet Skillshare.com and taken advantage of my 2 free month offer, using the custom code or my custom link there, you should definitely do it because it helps the channel out because they are my sponsor, and it's going to help you out as well, especially if you're not the greatest UI UX designer, or if you wanted to get into illustration so you can learn how to do your own custom landing page illustrations and stuff like that with vector art. They have so many different classes that you can take, video-based classes with projects to help you get better in all of those fields. So definitely we'll be doing this again, perhaps next week. And as always, look forward to the next week where we have regular tutorials. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, or of course yet. And I will see you guys real soon. Goodbye.